Seeker, it's me, the Ghost King. Come closer. Look at this stone. Do you see it? A border, thin as breath, carved to separate our world from theirs. But what if the living feared it would fail? What if they believed that death was not an end, but a doorway they had to barricade? They didn't just bury their dead, they tried to imprison them, to stop them from returning. Across Europe and early America, from the Dark Ages to the dawn of the 20th century, archaeologists still uncover these strange and unsettling graves. They are called deviant burials, apotropaic burials, a term from the Greek meaning to ward off evil. These are not graves of honor or peaceful rest. They are cages, evidence of a primal panic etched into the very earth, a brick forced into a mouth in Venice, a heart cut out and burned in Rhode Island, a sickle laid across a throat in Poland. Why would grief, the most human of emotions, curdle into such methodical, ritualistic fear? Curious? You should be, because this is not just folklore. This is a forgotten chapter of human history, written in bone and terror. Our journey begins in Venice, but not the city of canals and carnivals, you know. We go to Lazaretto Nuovo, an island fortress that became a quarantine station, a place of mass graves during the Black Death. Here in 2009, archaeologists unearthed a 16th century female skull with a crude brick forced deep into her mouth. The press called her the Vampire of Venice, but the truth is far more complex and far more terrifying. This wasn't mere theater. During the height of the plague, when death was an invisible, unstoppable miasma, a terrifying belief took hold. The fear of the shroud eaters. It was thought that some plague victims did not truly die, but instead lay in their graves, chewing their burial shrouds. This profane meal, they believed, mystically drew the life force from their surviving relatives, spreading the pestilence from beyond the grave. The only way to stop them, to silence them. The brick was not a random act of desecration. It was a tool, a gag to stop the chewing, to sever the supernatural link, to save the living. Or so they desperately hoped. Terror makes tools of ordinary things. Stone, iron, anything to hold the line between here and not here. Now we travel north to Drosko, Poland. Here in cemeteries dating from the 17th to the 18th century, hundreds of these deviant burials have been found. They call them the Drosko vampire burials. Here the fear was not of shroud eaters, but of a soul that refused to leave its body. These were not monsters in life. Isotope analysis of their teeth shows they were locals, members of the community. So why were they singled out? Perhaps they were the first to die in a cholera outbreak. Perhaps they were outsiders, or simply people who lived and died in a way that unsettled their neighbors. Their crime was to be a focal point for a community's terror. The methods here were chillingly precise. Some were buried with heavy stones pinning their necks or chests. Others had sickles laid across their throats or abdomens. The logic was brutal and direct. If the corpse tried to sit up, the blade would decapitate it or disembowel it. A spiritual lock and a deadly fail-safe. The placement was always careful, always ritualistic. This was not a frenzied attack. It was a calculated procedure. Iron binds, or so they believed. In some graves they even found padlocks clamped onto the toes, a final symbolic act of locking the dead in place. Folklore turned into a form of grim engineering against the undead. The pattern repeats. Farther east on the Black Sea coast of Bulgaria, in the ancient town of Sozopol. In 2012, archaeologists found two medieval skeletons, both from the 14th century, each pinned to the earth with a heavy iron rod driven through the chest. The local museum director called them, without hesitation, vampire burials. One was a man named Krivich, a local nobleman. It seems no one, regardless of status, was immune from being branded a potential threat after death. The method is different, a stake instead of a sickle, but the belief is the same. The dead must be made to stay dead. Now to the misty shores of Scotland. Torryburn, Fife. The year is 1704. A woman named Lilias Addy was accused of witchcraft. Under interrogation, likely torture, she confessed to meeting the devil. But before she could be tried and executed by burning, Lilias died in her prison cell. This presented a problem for the authorities. They feared that the devil might reanimate her corpse to torment the good people of Torryburn. So they devised a unique prison for her body. They buried her deep in the mud flats, in the liminal space between high and low tide. And over her grave, they placed a massive half-ton stone slab. A prison of immense weight and cleansing water, designed to keep her down, forever pinned between the tides. And now we cross the ocean, to New England, a land of supposed reason and enlightenment. But old fears travel easily. Here the panic had a different name: consumption, tuberculosis, a disease that hollowed people out, leaving them pale, coughing blood, wasting away. When you can't see the killer, you invent one. And in the late 19th century, in Exeter, Rhode Island, that invention was the vampire. You've heard the name, Mercy Brown. Her family was being destroyed by consumption. Her mother, her sister, and then Mercy herself succumbed. When her brother Edwin fell ill, the desperate townspeople, fueled by whispers and forgotten folklore, decided one of the dead Browns must be feeding on him. In March of 1892, they went to the cemetery. They exhumed the bodies of her mother and sister, finding only skeletons. But Mercy had died in the winter, and the frozen ground had acted as a natural refrigerator. When they opened her coffin, they found a body that looked almost untouched by death. To their frightened eyes, this natural preservation was undeniable proof of the unnatural. What they did next is the stuff of Gothic horror. On a rock beside her grave, they cut out Mercy's heart and liver and burned them. The ashes were then mixed with water to create a tonic, a desperate magical medicine for her dying brother, Edwin. Magic against microbes, a folk ritual in the age of the telephone. It did not work. He died 2 months later. Mercy Brown became known as America's last vampire, but she was simply a victim of a disease her community could not understand, and a fear they could not control. If you have reached this far, Seeker, it is because you, like me, are drawn to the shadows where history is truly written. I make real history with cinematic storytelling, new stories every week. Subscribe, stay with me, and we'll keep opening these quiet graves together. So what do these rituals, separated by centuries and continents, truly tell us? They reveal a universal human impulse. When faced with the inexplicable, a plague, a wasting sickness, a sudden death, our ancestors needed a narrative. They needed an enemy they could fight. You cannot fight a virus you cannot see, but you can fight a body. You can pin it, stake it, burn its heart. These apotropaic burials were a desperate attempt to impose order on chaos. It was folklore becoming policy, superstition becoming engineering. Ask yourself, seeker, were these buried individuals monsters? Or were they simply neighbors, family members, caught in the crossfire of a terror that wore a human face? The true horror isn't a corpse rising from the grave. It's a community so gripped by fear that it turns on its own dead, desecrating them in the name of salvation. In the end, these burials tell us far more about the anxieties of the living than the actions of the dead. They are monuments to fear, to grief, and to the terrifying human need for control in a world that offers none. One seeker who stayed, thank you. Watch more of my videos now. I drop new stories from the shadows every week.